I'm really excited to talk about this because one of the things I do on my free time is volunteer with dogs. I love animals.
Cool.
So I did that.
Oh,
Yeah, so I did that a lot in college. Obviously now, with COVID, a lot of things are different, and I just moved to LA, so I'm still trying to figure it out here. But I do think that it's super important. What I love about Dope Dog is that it's not only just like a dog brand, but it also has a purpose. And I really want to talk about that. So, first and foremost, I just kind of want to know, like, how did this concept come to your mind and what inspired Dope Dog to be?
yeah. Well, this little guy behind me, Jamers, he's a 10-year-old pit bull, and he was actually rescued by my fiance and business partner, Michael. We were dating first, and then we basically discovered CBD for ourselves back in 2017. And at that time, James was recovering from a double knee surgery, and he was on a couple medicines from the vet. And the vet was obviously trying to help James, but ultimately said, if he's on these for the rest of his life, which he should be, he's going to need to come in and get tested for his liver monthly. And we just knew there had to be a better way. Why should he have to be on these harmful meds? So we ended up experimenting with human CBD, which ultimately could be the same efficacy on James. And he did really well with it, and we were able to wean him off those meds, and he's really doing great. He plays with our other dog, Zoe. She's like 3 years old, and he is like a new dog. So we saw it work really well for him, and we knew there was something there, and that a lot of pet parents didn't know about this, and it wasn't available to us at our like local pet store here in Los Angeles. We just had to we felt like we had to like figure it out ourselves. So we're like, let's do this. Let's make these treats because, well, to be honest, James he's a little picky. And so CBD, you'll often see it in like an oil or a tincture. And we're like, okay, well, James likes treats. Like we have to find a way to get it. So he loves taking his CBD every day. And that's Dope Dog. The treats, the dogs love them, and they get their CBD every day.
So, a little bit off topic of Dope Dog, I just want to know what inspired you guys to adopt a pit bull? Because I know from my personal experience working with dogs and working at the shelters for 4 years, actually, the pit bulls were the dogs that were the kindest, which is ironic because they get such a bad rap. And I always say, like, when I finally adopt, I want it to be a pit bull because I just had great experiences with them. I fostered in college, and my foster was a pit, and it was like the best dog ever, and got adopted like 2 weeks after, of course. But what inspired that, and like, what would you tell people who want to adopt a dog, and specifically a pit bull?
Yeah, I'm grateful because I feel like a lot of rescues are putting pits in a better light. I can't speak for Michael. I don't know why he chose James. He honestly found James on Craigslist. Like they were just a family was just giving him up. So I don't even think it was because James was a pit. I think it was just because he was a dog that was about to be left on the street. But I can speak for myself that I don't know, pit bulls, I think they have just their eyes, I feel like they look into your soul. That sounds kind of weird, but they have such a human characteristic. And now that I have two pits, I know how snuggly and like sweet they are. So they're almost like gentle giants. And that's why I really like them, because I think they're beautiful and majestic, but also the most like mushy dogs ever. And, once you have one, you kind of know. And I feel like that's why there's such a big pit bull community, and they're kind of like obsessive over those dogs because they're just the best. I'm definitely biased, but I love pit bulls.
Yeah, I love them too. So going back to Dope Dog, you wanted to find this kind of more holistic approach to helping your animal, and you looked at humans to do so. I want to know what, from your perspective and through your research building this company, are the benefits of CBD to animals specifically?
Yeah, so this is something we do a lot of. We're always working on this, trying to figure out what our customers are using this for, because obviously we use it for James in healing his legs, which was ultimately a problem of inflammation and arthritis. So that's one really popular use of CBD for humans and dogs, is joint health, inflammation and arthritis. And the way CBD helps is by reducing inflammation. However, as we've grown, I mean, we're going on 4 years now, there are a ton of dogs and humans, as you probably know, or I know, anxiety. It's a huge issue. A lot of dogs, they're experiencing separation anxiety, maybe if their owner leaves for the day, or just they're just nervous because they can't speak to us and there's all these sounds that they can hear. So there's a lot of dogs out there using CBD as more of a daily supplement to help reduce that, like, you know, anxiety feeling that they have. And then another one is a little bit more serious. So CBD has been studied for seizures, epilepsy and seizures in children. There's one drug that's actually the only drug that's approved by the government right now, or the FDA, and it's specifically for that, for seizures. So I have a lot of customers dosing in high doses during a seizure and ongoing to prevent that. So that's a little bit more on the, like, you know, more serious side, more medicinal, but it's kind of crazy how many different issues we're seeing really great results from.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I would say separation anxiety and inflammation are like the most popular with dogs, because dogs in older age can get it, and just like any issues that they have growing up. So I would say those are the most common uses right now.
I know that on the West Coast specifically, CBD is like a huge thing in humans. And I know that a lot of people use CBD for anxiety, like what you were saying. So would you say that since, you know, it helps animals as well, that people could be using it even if their dog doesn't have like a serious medical issue? They could be feeding their dog dope dog treats just, you know, for if they're going to leave the house and their dog might have a little bit of separation anxiety.
Yeah, it definitely can be given in lower, more frequent doses for that. And it's also a good thing to have on hand if you're going to the groomer or the vet. Also fireworks, like those bangs, dogs hate it. And so maybe your dog is great day to day, but then there's like these particular incidences that it's really good to have a little extra CBD on hand. But a lot of dogs experience it daily. So, you know, they're nervous. And when we all go back to work after the pandemic, I know a lot, at least of my friends, have adopted new dogs, and all they know is their owners are there 24/7 with them. And so when we all have to go back to work, or maybe, you know, go to a party for once, the dogs are gonna be like, what, where's my mom? And so it would be nice to be able to take the edge off for them when that comes along.
Yeah, especially once things start to go back to normal, hopefully within the next couple of months. But you said that you adopted a dog with your boyfriend at the time, fiance now, and Dope Dog's been going for about 4 years. So when you started the company, you were just dating, right? You were just boyfriend
For 1 year, yeah.
For 1 year, okay. Yeah. And now you guys are engaged. Congratulations. But I want to know, what is it like starting a business with a boyfriend of not even that long term at the time?
Yeah, looking back, I would probably be like, are you guys crazy? Like, it was a new relationship, and like, it wasn't like we planned it out, like, hey, we're going to start a business together. It really did evolve naturally. And so I think we didn't realize at the time what we were getting ourselves into, because we just kind of wanted to do this. And so, you know, then a couple years in, you're like, okay, obviously the relationship is still going well and the business is going better than expected. So, yeah, looking back, I would do it again for sure, but it seems a little crazy, definitely. But I think I mean, there's a lot of husband and wife business partners, and obviously there's pros and cons. Like, we learned so much about each other quickly. Like, we are total opposites, and it's really, really good for the business. Michael is the creative, like, side of the brain. Like, he is, you know, the podcaster, does all the digital graphics, video, and then I'm more of like, you know, the nitty gritty, I guess you could say. So basically we bring the opposite sides to the table, and that's what makes Dope Dog successful. So I'm grateful for that. But where was I going with this? We had to like fast forward. We really learned so much about each other, and I think it ultimately helped the relationship. And now we're able to move things along quicker. Oh, that's what I was saying. So when you work with your partner, there's a blurry line between business and home life. Like you don't come home from work and say, oh, hey honey, how was your day? It's like you were in the day, and so you could just pick up on a work thing. If you think of a work idea, you're at dinner, it's really hard not to say it and not to separate it. So we're able to drive the business forward faster because we're always, we love it. We're always thinking about it and trying to be better and have new ideas. So super gray area, but I think ultimately it's a really good thing because you don't skip a beat. You don't like, oh, I'll tell my coworker at work when I see them next. It's like you're just in it and it's become our life and we love it. Luckily, we get to work with dogs every day, so we can't complain.
Yeah. And as you said, I mean, it's clearly working out because the business is successful. Tell me, what are your favorite products that you guys are selling right now? And what is next? Are there any new products coming out, any new events, anything you want people to know?
Yes, absolutely. So we started with the treats. So we have these amazing CBD treats that pets like are obsessed with. They're a crunchy biscuit. So I think those are just like a must try. But the product that's the newest and I'm excited about is our Soothing Suds shampoo, because we've found after talking to a lot of dog owners that maybe they're itchy or have allergies. And that's something that dogs use. They get groomed, they use shampoo. So versus like a muscle balm that maybe a human would rub on their shoulder, the dogs are great with the shampoo because it gets in their fur coat. And so that's a product that was designed specifically for dogs, which is kind of like just what we're all about. Like we're not, everything's thought with the dog in mind. I mean, James and Zoe have to love it. It's not going to happen if they don't, and all of our other customers. And then what we're really excited about is the future of the line, because we just actually, since we last spoke, Megan, there's been huge news. We are raising a crowd investment round, our first round of capital. And we're so excited because we can finally, we have so many ideas for growth right now. We're all organic right now growth. We don't do any paid advertising. So with the funds that we're raising, we can begin to grow online digitally with ads, but also we have a lot of ideas for the product line in the future. I don't want to like say everything, but we're looking at maybe like a softer treat and maybe like expanding in the supplement realm. We know what CBD does and we know it's highly effective, but there's so much there's so much happening in like dog science, and we get really excited about that. So we have big plans for the line and the company. And we just launched on a crowd investment platform called Republic. And it's really cool because it allows our family, friends, investors, and even our customers invest in the brand. So like to actually own a part of Dope Dog if they believe in it. And I know a lot of our super fans do. So we're really excited to actually welcome everyone into the company and then take it to the next level.
That's awesome. Super exciting for you guys. And I'm sure you're right, going to take it to the next level. I mean, organic is obviously working for you because I found you that way. But with that being said, you guys kind of started this company because you had a need and you wanted to fill it. It was a need for your animals and you didn't find it on the market. So you created it yourself. What advice do you have for those who want to start a business, see a need that needs filled? And maybe with that, could you tell us about your podcast? Because I know you have a business podcast where I'm sure you both are giving some great advice.
Yeah. Well, I always say just start and just know that your initial concept will always be evolving and changing because you're going to be getting feedback from people using your product. So what Dope Dog started as like our first like design, looking back, it's like, oh, how embarrassing, but you have to start somewhere and it's never going to be perfect. And we're always evolving. So if you have an idea or you're inspired or you love something, you can start in a small way, like, a test or, just get out there and taking those steps puts you on the field, not to use a sports analogy. I hate when people do that, Michael. But, you'll then get the feedback. And as you share, people find out about you and you get more ideas and more inspired. So instead of just like, doing your business plan at home, like you don't need any of that. Like I would say, just get out in your community or in wherever it is that you're trying to make a difference and just take the first step, because you'll be surprised how far you'll get if you just like, don't hang on to like perfectionism like forever. But But yeah, we actually have a podcast because we love to hear from other business owners. So we let them kind of share their journey, and and ultimately it's just inspire people thinking of starting a business. So kind of to the advice you just asked me to give, we have people on to share it's called Call Me Crazy, the podcast. So it's like, what's your Call Me Crazy story? And mine and Michael and I's is we were crazy because we started the business a year into dating and now we're here. So everyone has some sort of a Call Me Crazy story, especially in the entrepreneur world. And I love to hear that because I think it inspires, there's so many people striving to, achieve their goals and to start something. And so having these conversations kind of shows that it's totally possible.
I love the name of that podcast. First of all, I think that
Call Me Crazy.
Really good, like really fitting. But I also like that concept because in a lot of ways it's similar to why I started this podcast, which is for people who want to get into business, entertainment, anything related to the industry, like what is needed, and hearing from others who have done it so that they know that it's attainable and they know what is coming their way, especially during these crazy times. How are people already in it navigating it, so they might know as well. I like to kind of pop in a fun question. What is your favorite breed of dog and why?
Well, I think we touched on this a little, but 100% Staffordshire Terrier, Bull Terrier, Pit Bull, whatever you want to call them today. I love them. They're little humans, and this is Zoe in the background. I don't know if you can see her. I can't move all the camera setup, but she literally is just like the best cuddler. And obviously I'm talking about my own dog, but I truly love pit bulls. I'm a little biased, but it's also a hard question to answer because all dogs are perfect in their own way. So there's so many amazing breeds out there. They're all wonderful, but my favorite just happens to be little baby pit bulls and mixes and rescues. Obviously, we rescued Zoe from Wags and Walks. I know you rescued in LA too, Megan. So I'm curious to hear who you've worked with. But there's so many amazing rescues out there. So I guess not to be cheesy, but our favorite breed ultimately has to be rescue because there's so many great dogs out there that need a home. And they're all wonderful and it's worth it. I wish I could have 10.
Yeah, that's seriously the problem with fostering and rescuing. You foster short term and then you're like, wait, I kind of love this dog and I want to keep it forever.
Foster fail is real for sure.
Yeah, that's what me and my boyfriend have this conversation. I'm like, I think we just need to foster. And he's like, I don't think so. Because it will
unless you want a dog, you don't foster.
Yes, it will never leave this apartment ever. I like to end the podcast with some positive news. As I said, this interview's been pretty positive as is, but do you have anything positive going on that you want to share with listeners?
Yeah, definitely our Dope Dogs crowdfund raise on Republic is kind of our biggest excitement right now. We also have our holiday treat, which is so delicious. It's exclusive just during the holiday season. And so if you haven't tried any of our treats, why not start out with the holiday bag? It's like a festive little candy cane bag, and the flavor is actually pumpkin turmeric. So it's one of my favorite recipes, and I'm hoping we can bring it on full time. But right now it's only seasonal. So they're called Merry Munchies. And I think every dog and future dope dog needs to get Merry Munchies in their stocking this year because they will love them. But yeah, dope.dog is our website. We have, all the latest and greatest on there. We love to do, content and engage with our customers. So you can find us on Instagram. It's usually like Michael and I behind the camera. Like we love to have fun with it. So, just follow us along on Dope Dog Treats and you can see what we're up to. There's always something new going on around here. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, and everything, every way to reach you guys and to buy your treats will be linked in the show notes of both the IGTV and the podcast. But until then, thank you so much for joining me. This was awesome. Your business idea is awesome. Your podcast is awesome. You're awesome. I loved all of this.
Well, thank you for having me. I love your podcast too. I listened to a couple episodes before, so I am a super fan now, and I really appreciate you having me on, Megan.